This tutorial requires beginner to intermediate skills, takes about 1.5 hours to prep and about 1 hour to apply. We spent a tiny amount of money on a cheapo bowl cap as well as black and white Ellimorph plastic, which you can get your hands on at Ellimacs.com. The look was inspired by a mask created by Colin Christians, based on a mask concept by hollywoodjbub. Let's start by creating a lot of teeth, and for that we're going to use Ellimorph plastic in white. We pour it in hot water, let the pellets turn clear, then scoop it up. By creating a roll and then flatten it out, we get the perfect starting point for mass production of teeth. As the plastic cools off a little, it's easy to cut with a pair of scissors. Just like that. We cut off little pieces, and since these teeth are rounded off, we simply round them off using those scissors. Just like that. And then we create a lot of them. If the plastic gets too hard to work with, simply dip it for a few seconds in hot water again and it turns soft. Bigger teeth for the front and smaller ones for the sides. Sticking with Ellimorph plastic this time in black, let's create those spider legs. This process is fairly simple. Again, roll it out into a nice chunk like this and then roll some parts thinner and leave little, like joints there between. So a few joints on the way, just pull the plastic out and thins off, and then another joint until you have something looking like this. Cut off any excess, then place it on a flat surface and push down on it a little. Keep the angles correct there as that plastic cools off. We flip it over and the plastic gets that nice flat surface. And since we need a sharp leg there at one end, simply use a pair of scissors to cut it sharply. We have 6, which isn't really spiderish because they have 8 legs, but there you go. Next up, something face-shaped, preferably a face cast, but you can also use a flimsy little craftsy mask or anything you got with the shape of a face. The clay covering the eyes is just to give that mask a little bit of a distance. Anyways, we continue to create that mouth. We are using liquid latex paste, which is basically liquid latex mixed with regular baking flour. We are going for a mouth that looks like a nice smile being pulled open by those nasty insecty legs. Using only liquid latex on the fingertips, we can smooth out any surfaces. Alright, with our mouth beginning to take shape, let's throw in a few teeth there. Just like that, sink them in, all those little teeth you created. Place the big ones up front and work your way outwards to the sides using smaller and smaller teeth. There you go. With the teeth in place, we need to create that drawn out skin of our nasty looking smile. 2 chunks on the side that we need to fade into the rest of that mask. It's always good to use some sort of a spatula to get those sharp edges there in the smile. Make sure you dip it in latex before you start working with it, or it will just stick to that paste. We leave the smile alone for a second now. We'll leave that smile alone for a while and start working on those hollowed out eye sockets, and that means large high edges around the eyes. Sort of a mix between a skeleton and a clown, if you will. And this is the perfect opportunity for you to give this mask your own unique look. Shape it the way you want it. And since we need something to attach those spidery legs with, make sure you have an ample amount of latex paste right there on the brows. We continue with that latex paste down over the nose and connect it to the smile. Doing a little final touch up there with the spatula to really flap that skin of the mouth up. Then it's time to bring out all your nice little legs you created. Sink them into the latex paste in the brow and then connect it to the flappy piece in the mouth. And if you have trouble getting them to stay there while this dries, you can always tape them together to give it a little bit of a hold, or simply prop them up against something else. For us, that little bit of tape did the trick. With the legs in place, you are ready. Leave this to dry overnight, and then we can peel it off. Before peeling the mask off, we actually took out the legs, but the holes are still there. Make sure you apply a bit of flour there along the edges of that mask as you peel it off, or the latex will stick to itself. Use a pair of scissors to cut away the excess latex in the eye sockets, and we suggest you also make a little incision there between the teeth so that you can actually get a straw in there and drink while you have the mask on. We actually cut off a large chunk there of the nose, as you will see a little bit later. Since our teeth are way too white here, we are using a brown shade to dirty them down a bit. Then switching to red for the gum. This is a grease-based color. You can use any kind of color you got, but the grease-based ones actually stick to that latex pretty well. So paint all the gum parts in there between the teeth as well. And to give this mouth more depth, we need a coat of a darker shade of red. We also go in with black to really deepen the look. This is my worst nightmare in Swedish is det här är min värsta mardröm. And since nightmares is the theme, let's go for deep black in those eye sockets. For the most part, those spidery legs will stick in the sockets by themselves. But just to make sure, we add a little bit of glue and push them right in there. So that's all for the prep work. Now let's continue to apply it. But first, this shout goes to Denmark and Clara FX. Oh. Check out her awesome creations and give her some love. Go follow. Oh. Application time, and we start off by protecting our eyebrows and our little hairline. Don't want that latex to get stuck. Throw on a bald cap. A cheapo bald cap in our case. And before we apply that latex, let's give our eyes a dark base there so they don't stick out like crazy when the mask is on. And yep, when you're a full raccoon, go over that face with latex because we are attaching our nice little prosthetic with the spidery legs. Put it on there. Just like that. Make sure all the edges are stuck. A little bit too much edge there. Let's zap that. Perfect. Right, so line that edge with latex again because we want to make sure this sticks even if you are a bit sweaty there under the mask. And as I said earlier, there you see that we have cut off a large chunk of the front of the nose there so that we can breathe properly. To add to the messy scare factor, we add latex and then cotton in chunks. Give that head a really rough texture. Because stuff of nightmares can't be silky smooth. Unless, of course, it's a slimy alien. That one should be smooth. Anyways, we give our nose that same texture. And while speed drying this with a blow dryer, Ellie makes her famous pelican neck move. Add white paint to the whole nugget there, to the whole head. We are using a spray paint because we did this on a Twitch session. It was actually faster to do it with a spray paint than a regular grease-based paint. But we go in for the details in the face, of course, with a white grease-based paint. And yeah, this is hairspray color, so it's not regular spray color. Then bring out some black and mix that in with that white in random chunks like this. Either flick on wet watercolor with a brush and your basic paints, or do it with a hairspray color. On top of the head, it's not really precision work, so just make it scary as you go along. Then we need to paint those legs a little. They turned white since we used the fast method. Turned out not so fast since we had to go back there and repaint them. Same goes for the eyes. Anyways, with our eyes and legs black again, let's emphasize that smile with a bit of shading. We'll let that sloppy blackness go around the whole mouth there. This definitely adds to that scare factor. It looks really nasty. Popping the lid of that dark, slow-flowing blood. Let's get that all around our mouth because this nasty creature has been chewing on something, and I bet, you know, when you are in your bed and your foot comes out from underneath the cover, only your foot, you are pretty fast to get that back in under because you never know what's gonna come up from under your bed and grab it, especially if it hangs over the edge of the bed. That's just nasty. Switched to a spray bottle with flowy, much lighter blood for that runny, nice effect. Now we felt the teeth lost a little bit of the shine there, so we go in and give them a little bit of a white highlight there. Using a grease-based color. You have a few options with the legs. You can either go with hairy legs, or as in what? Yeah, the door to the toilet's open. Or as we did, we actually applied a bit of varnish here on the legs to give them that nice shine in a dim light situation. Like a Halloween party, those legs and that shininess will make them pop. Make sure it's all dry and bum bum bum. You are ready with your nightmare. We don't know what this is, but whatever it is, it looks freaky. We hope you like this look as much as we do, and we really hope that you make your own versions and recreations of it with your own color schemes, maybe hairy legs. I don't know what's in your head. What I do know is that we need your help to get over 1 million subscribers this Halloween, so help us share this video with the world so that more people can get the best and the most out of their Halloween party. We're back real soon, and then maybe with something from Death Note. I don't know. Bye!